everywhere. I have trouble finishing them. I finished your book. I made myself, I said, I'm doing it was great because I was going to talk to you, so I had to. And it's never because of the book. If I don't get it finished, it's not because of the book. It's quite often because there's just so many books. And I'll be halfway through a book and I'll find another one and I'll get that one and then something will come out and I'll put it on my Kindle and I'm like, start that one. And then, so yours is the first one I finished in a while. And it was a great read. I enjoyed it very much. And I really enjoyed Aerith. I am going to go back and read Mary Rose's story because I enjoyed this one. And I also, want to know how she got to where she is. And so, is there anything you want to add to?
Well, like when I'm researching a book or when I'm writing the book, I like for anything possible question that a reader could have gets answered in the book. Whether it's like an answer they want or an answer they don't. So I'm very technical. Like I find that I'm very technical. If I say something in the first of the book, like that might get somebody thinking, well, why did that happen? Or, how did the person become where they are? I make sure that I answer that somewhere in the book. Like I don't leave things unanswered. And that's what I like.
Right. I don't think I write in that style. I like to leave the reader thinking about it, but not technical details. More about not the story. What should I say? I like to leave a reader with the character still part of their lives. I have someone right now who's read.
Oh, me too. But like if I lead them in one direction, say, like somebody would say, well, how did Mary get to wherever she was going? Well, I make sure that they know, from one point in her life to another point in her life.
Right.
I make sure that it's alluded to in some way, or that they wouldn't be left at the end of the book with, okay, so she said this, she said this, she said this, but like I have no idea why she said that.
Right.
Sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably when you're doing the flashback techniques. My book is sort of a once upon a time, and then it goes in. There are some flashbacks, but they're minor. There might be a paragraph, where she thinks about something that happened. But I mean, it's very minor. And of course, I do that throughout the book in random places where you want to get an insight of how the character became the person she is. But I think I know what you mean. I wasn't quite grasping what you were saying there. You don't want to leave loose ends when it comes to the story, the plot. You don't want holes. No, absolutely.
I don't mind leaving them guessing, but I want to make sure that if I write that somebody drove a yellow car. Now this is very simplistic. Somebody drove a yellow car because they loved yellow. Well, where did they get that car?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or if it was something weird, like, I like to make sure that the person, that there's no unanswered questions.
Right.
Like, okay, so this person, like today they're poor and tomorrow they're rich. Well, how did they become rich?
Yeah, you have to answer those because.
Yeah, so it's like the big things, not the little things, but the big things have to be answered.
Yeah, they do, and especially if they're important to the story. How she winds up here instead of there is very important to the story. It's not a small piece of it in the sense that the reader would be confused. It's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, like you got to make sense of those things, right?
Yeah, and that's plot. I mean, that's the plot of the story. Like, there can't be gaping holes of how did that happen? It doesn't make any sense now.
That's where I'm very technical.
That would, and I think most writers are. I mean, I don't know that flanker would. I think an editor would pick up those kinds of things fairly quickly. If a piece of information that was valuable to the story. I mean, when I wrote my book, and it had gone through editing, I found a plot hole in the sense that a timeline didn't make sense. This
Yes,
had happened, and then 2 days later, this had happened, and there was no way it could have happened 2 days later. It was an easy fix.
Yeah.
It was an easy
Well,
fix.
when I was doing Mary Rowe, I needed to have Mary's mother be something that she was that she wasn't when I was writing it in the beginning. Like in the beginning, she was a teacher, and then when I was going through the story, I'm like, okay, wait now, why would she be like? Why would Mary want to be doing something medical if her mother was a teacher, sort of thing? So then I said, I woke in the middle of the night and I was, aha, okay. She's going to be, her mother is going to have been a nurse. And then I was like, okay, well, how would she have gotten there if she was a nurse? So then I had to give the story behind how she got there.
Those are things that you spend your time thinking. For me, I think about that a lot. Get two writers on a conversation. This is how it ends up. But those are things like why motivate. It goes to motivation. All characters have to have motivation. And there has to be a reason. So it's fiction, but it has to be fiction. Fiction doesn't mean nothing is true. Fiction means that the story generally and the characters are created out of the author's mind. But you got to be able to suspend your disbelief, right? Like it can't be so far-fetched or not make any sense. So
no, that's right.
Fiction doesn't mean that Mary Rowe is a late 1800s and she's driving a 1935 car.
Yes,
that just
you
doesn't
can't
make
do
any
that.
sense. Right.
No.
So you have to have it make sense, but it also has to have the motivation. Like, why would this person do this? And you do that as you're working. You'll be like, I have had characters do something, and then I've looked at what they've done and went, that's totally out of character. This guy was a real nice guy. Why would he turn and do that? So I have to either change what he did or go back and put some incidents in where it looks like he may not be quite as good as he's good, but he's not perfect, And I've had to do that so that it makes sense when we get to he does this. And these are the things that make writing complicated and make writing
but enjoyable. I love it.
But
that's why I love it.
Because when you wake up in the middle of the night with the solution to that, you're like, I got it.
And then I get up and I write at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I forget that I have to go to work.
Yes. And so this is the thing that makes it all great. Well, it is wonderful to talk to you. Do you have any events coming up in the next while?
No, other than just standard signings at Costco or places like that. I believe I'm signing at Kohl's in the Avalon Mall the Saturday before Mother's Day.
Okay.
And other than that, every week I'll get a new schedule of signings. So I have a few signings at Costco and one at Kohl's for sure.
Sounds good. Okay. So you have The Promise, you have Being Mary Rowe, and you have, what was the other one called?
No Turning Back, Surviving the Linehan Family Tragedy.
So 3 books, and they are all available. 2 are through Flanker, 1 through Breakwater. And signings coming up. Okay. And you are on Facebook, and
I have an author page, Ida Linehan Young, yes.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, yes.
So anybody listening who's interested and wants to keep up on what Ida's doing, go to the Facebook page and like it. And so that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Ida. It was an absolute pleasure chatting to you about writing and the craft that keeps us sane and insane at the same time.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
I look forward to your next book, and I'm sure it's probably already in the works, right?
I already got a title and all.
There you
so
go.
I'm right delighted with it.
All right. Wonderful.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. And have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
And that was author Ida Linehan Young. And, sorry, I think I may have gotten that name wrong. Ida Linehan Young. Yes, I have it right. That was author Ida Linehan Young, and she has a new book from Flanker Press called The Promise. You can pick it up at Chapters, Kohl's, online at Amazon, and anywhere it's an ebook, paperback, all the formats, and pick up a copy. The Promise. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Bridges radio program. Find us again next Friday at 8 p.m. Bridges is produced at Citadel House Studios in Lewisport, Newfoundland and Labrador, and is a collaborative project between Carolyn R. Parsons and Citadel House.